When you set foot into a grocery store in the Netherlands, it might seem normal at first with rows of colorful fruits and vegetables and neatly stacked shelves. But if you look closely, there are quite a bit of unique and unexpected things inside. So in today's video, we're gonna take you on a fascinating journey through the top 10 most weird and distinctive things in a Dutch grocery store.
Goedemorgen and welcome back. Today, we're counting down the top 10 weirdest things that you might find in a Dutch grocery store. Starting with one that caused us a lot of stress when we moved here. Number 10. This one's been mentioned in our other grocery store video, but here in the Netherlands and in a lot of other countries here in Europe, you have to pass through security gates both when you go in and then when you leave the grocery store. But the catch is, to exit, you'll need to have your receipt to actually get the gates to open, so be sure to remember that when you're checking out at the grocery store. Also, you might be presented with a confusing and stressful situation if you went to the store but didn't actually end up buying anything, but fret not, there's probably an employee of the grocery store nearby. The reason for these gates is obviously to prevent theft. They don't open from the inside, which is why you need to have a receipt or you need to ask an employee when you're leaving the store if you didn't buy anything. Okay, now let's talk about why those sugary drinks might be costing you a lot more than you think.
Number 9. If you find yourself purchasing bottles of juice, soda, or water, you might notice that they're a little bit more expensive than you might expect. And that's because there's an additional 15-cent tax added to each item. This is called statiegeld. This is to discourage the use of plastics and also encourage recycling. But the good thing is you can keep those empty bottles and return them to the store and get your 15 cents back. And a lot of people actually do this, and when you're in the grocery store, you might notice people walking around with huge bags full of bottles, and that's probably what they're doing.
You're getting their 15 cents.
Hell yeah. If you're familiar with the cereal aisle in an American grocery store, then you can easily visualize this next one.
Number 8. Aside from cheese, the Dutch are also pretty well known for their love of potatoes, whether it's in a Stamppot or it's frites. And you'll see that reflected in the grocery store aisles as well. You can get nearly any shape of potato pre-cut in the grocery store. And they have tons of pre-seasoned potatoes too, along with mashed and gratin, all fresh in the refrigerated section. And this is a stark contrast to grocery stores in the United States, where 90% of the potatoes that you're gonna find are actually in the frozen section. Oh, and if you're looking for the whole kind of potato, they have those too. Now, let's talk about something you don't see much of in grocery stores here.
Number 7. Tampons without applicators are way more popular in the Netherlands than they are in the US, and that's probably because they're less expensive and better for the environment. But if it's not something you're used to, you might walk into a grocery store looking for tampons with applicators and they're nowhere to be found. In fact, a lot of the pharmacy and self-care items can be found at the grocery store, they just have a very limited selection of them. So if you're looking for something specific like tampons with applicators, you're gonna wanna visit a drugstore like Atos or Kruidvat, and you're gonna find it there. Okay, if you've ever wanted to make fresh juice in the middle of a grocery store, you're gonna love this next one.
Grocery stores in the Netherlands have an orange juice machine. Yep, you can make your own orange juice, fresh, and right in the middle of most grocery stores here. I'm actually not sure that orange juice is more popular here than anywhere else. Like, when we go to Japan, everyone drinks orange juice there.
All the time.
But there's a fresh orange juice machine in most of the supermarkets that we've been to here. And besides orange juice, there's still a bunch of other fruit juices. They're either in the aisles or they're in the refrigerated section like you would expect. We've actually never used this machine, and I actually don't think I've ever seen anyone use the machine when we're at the supermarket. So if you're one of the people that use this fresh orange juice machine, let us know in the comments. And I guess also let us know, is it that much better than the orange juice that you would buy from the refrigerated section? It probably is.
Yeah,
it's fresh.
It's gotta be. They're squeezing that orange right there.
Anyway, let us know in the comments. All right, now let's talk about a Dutch delicacy for those on the go.
Number 5. Another Dutch food staple is herring, a raw herring that goes through a pickling process and is typically served alongside some raw onions.
I just ate this in our GeoGuessr video.
And usually you'll find these stands outside of train stations or maybe inside of the weekend markets, and it's not just a tourist thing. A lot of locals really enjoy herring. Did you know that? But I was kind of shocked that you could find the herring inside of the grocery store, because it's actually like in the fish section, packaged and served with the raw onions inside of it.
Yeah, so you could take it on the train with you.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I would ever have a hankering for herring that was strong enough where I'm like inside of Albert Heijn. I'm like, I gotta get this now.
But if you do, it's there for you.
Yeah, he tried it and was actually said it was okay, right? Okay, if you're looking to spice up your next sandwich, this might be just the thing you're looking for.
Number 4. When we moved to the Netherlands, we were fully prepared to be introduced to a bunch of new cheese products that we weren't familiar with, like maybe some sort of cheese spread or some sort of new flavor of cream cheese. But this is one I'm still not sure I fully understand, and that's all of these flavored spreads. Upon further investigation, it seems like they're all just types of egg salads. So you can have like a farmer style egg salad or a chicken mango egg salad or even a hot wing egg salad. But this section of the grocery store is actually pretty big, and so much in fact that most of the local grocery brands here have their own house brands for this stuff. And they also make vegan versions of the most popular flavors. We are really curious about this stuff. It seems like it's really popular here, so we are going to try it in our next video. Pray for us. Everyone here is going to be like, what are they talking about? We eat this stuff all the time. It's not weird, but...
Have you ever had egg salad before?
Yes, in Japan.
Oh, right.
In our 7-Eleven video that no one watched. And next, here's a good tip for you if you're looking for not fresh vegetables in the grocery store.
Number 3. In the US, when we weren't buying fresh vegetables, we would usually buy frozen or canned vegetables. And coming to the Netherlands, we quickly realized that there are very few canned vegetables here, and most of them actually come in jars. After a few quick Google searches, I really couldn't find a reason for this. I mean, they look quite nice because you can see what's inside the jar. And another thing that I really love about this is you can actually just use the jar afterwards for things like salad dressing or pasta sauces at home. And we have a ton of these inside of our cabinet right now.
People are going to watch this one and be like, yeah, okay, so canned vegetables are just in jars. That's really number 3 on their list.
Yeah, I mean, it is because like also there's hang on. I will say though,
cut us some slack,
the jar things, like it kind of makes it seem like fancy. Don't you think?
It is fancy.
It looks really nice and it's glass. And like, honestly, in the US, they phased out a ton of glass stuff in the grocery store and it's all shoved into plastic. So I don't know, it seems fancy. This next one might be why your grocery bill is so high.
Number 2. In the Netherlands, organic and non-organic produce are found in the same section. So this means when you're in the vegetable section, you're going to see 2 cucumbers, 2 celeries, and so on. Now, if you're in a rush, this might be a little confusing because you just run in, you just grab a vegetable, and it might end up being the organic one, which you'd have to pay more for.
Yeah, I definitely have purchased like a €3 cucumber before by accident.
Was it good?
It tasted the same.
The reason for this is probably just to better use the space in a grocery store, since the grocery stores here tend to be on the smaller side. All that said, be sure to just make sure when you're buying fruits and vegetables at the grocery store that you're buying the one that you came in to buy and not either one that isn't organic or one that is more expensive than what you're expecting. This is number 2. Michelle wrote this.
Do you want to write the list?
And finally, the weirdest thing about a Dutch grocery store. Number 1.
You have to pay in euros. It's so weird.
You have to pay in euros.
They won't take my US dollars.
They won't take our US dollars. It's so weird.
Number 1. Now, imagine this. You're on your way home from work and you need to stop by the grocery store. And it's about 6 o'clock in the evening. And you walk in, you walk up to the bakery section, and it looks like this. This is actually quite common because grocery stores in the Netherlands have their bread either baked in store or sent from a factory that same day. And due to the lack of preservatives, they don't really just like sit in the back of the grocery store, so there's not a surplus stock. So many times in the evening, you'll be left with next to nothing or just the really unpopular bread types.
Yeah, but look at the bright side. You get to figure out what the unpopular bread types are here in the Netherlands.
This is actually how I found all of the breads that are my least favorite.
Yeah, and our favorites.
It's true.
We're like, oh, well, I mean, if everyone's eating this first, then I guess we should be too.
So to avoid this, many people grocery shop in the mornings or the afternoons, or if they see their favorite kind of bread, they'll actually just buy a bunch of it and then they'll throw it in the freezer and thaw it out as needed.
And that's it. That's the official BUNCHARTED list of the weird or quirky things that we've run into here at the grocery stores in the Netherlands. We want to know, what are some things that are normal at your grocery store that you actually haven't seen anywhere else? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Doei.
Doei.